Richie B, the party master, on Up and Go.
So I did my final bit of consultation, and I can now say good morning to you. What am I talking about? I always like to look at the date because the time is moving so quickly that just before I sign on in the mornings, I make sure I just do a double check on the date. It's the 9th of December. And yes, you know, we're getting closer and closer to Christmas. You can expect even more traffic as we get closer and closer to Christmas. It's crazy on the streets, isn't it? Am I the only one feeling that? Oh boy, and it's not going to get better. Nonetheless, we say good morning to you here in Jamaica and around the world. Welcome to Up and Go, picking up where Jack Scorpio left off, and we're going to take it all the way down until 11 o'clock this morning. The world of reggae has been rocked by the news of the passing of Robbie Shakespeare. First of all, I'd like to express my deepest condolences to his family, his immediate family, to Sly Dunbar, to all his collaborators, and to all within the music and entertainment fraternity, not just within Jamaica, but definitely a whole lot outside of Jamaica as well. Our deepest condolences on the passing of Robbie Shakespeare. May his soul rest in peace. More tributes coming up later on throughout the program, but right now, let me ask you, are you ready for Up and Go? My phone is obviously blowing up because a lot of persons are, in fact, quite bereaved at the passing of Robbie. Some people call him Bass Spear. Yeah, because he was well known for wonderful works with the bass guitar. He was a part of the duo Sly Dunbar and Robbie Shakespeare, the Rhythm Twins, as they were affectionately called. Rolling Stones magazine named Robbie as the number 17 on their top 50 greatest bassists of all time. He was world renowned, has made a significant contribution to our music, has worked with numerous major international stars. Shall we name a few? Names like Gwen Guthrie comes to mind. Grace Jones, James Brown. Robbie has worked with Carly Simon, along with, of course, Sly. They've worked with Nona Hendrix and the Rolling Stones, Bob Dylan, Herbie Hancock. Here in Jamaica, I don't know who has not worked with Robbie. But from the early days, working with Dennis Brown and Gregory Isaacs, the likes of Peter Tosh, the Mighty Diamonds, Toots and the Maytals, Jimmy Cliff, Bunny Wailer, Namba Robinson, to name just a few really sizable and significant contribution he made. He was born in 1953 and was registered at birth Robert Warren Dale Shakespeare. He passed yesterday. He was battling some ailments from kidney issues and had recently done surgery, as it has come to us. And unfortunately, he did not make it past yesterday. Again, we express our deepest condolences to all those who mourn the passing of Robbie Shakespeare. Many tributes are coming through, and not just here in Jamaica, obviously, but all around the world. I just tapped into the BBC, and they have one entire page is dedicated to a tribute to Robbie Shakespeare, and many other news portals are also putting out their tributes. We'll share some of those with you as the day progresses. Right now, it's 15 minutes on the downside of 7 o'clock. I'm taking a look at the World Wide Web, and just to give you an indication as to what's happening upon the news of Robbie Shakespeare's passing, there are numerous articles that have come out already, many of them in tribute to the late great Jamaican bass player. The Voice out of the UK tributes pour in for Robbie Shakespeare. The Jamaica Gleaner, Grange, Jimmy Cliff pay tribute to Robbie Shakespeare. The Rolling Stones, Questlove pays tribute to the late great Robbie Shakespeare. The St. Times, what happened to Robbie Shakespeare? Tributes to Robbie Shakespeare coming in. NME News. Robbie Shakespeare, one half of Sly and Robbie, has died at age 68. UK Sports. Sly and Robbie, reggae bassist Robbie Shakespeare dies at 68. And there are just so many articles, ladies and gentlemen. This was truly a great Jamaican, and his works will be celebrated for a long, long time to come. It's now time for our Proverb of the Day. That's where we're headed right now. And Richie, I think you've got a proverb to play for us. I think it's really short, so we want it in its entirety. Listen to the proverb. I'll share with you the translation and then the explanation. Here we go.
I know all roof a shelter. I know all roof a shelter.
I heard you loud and clear. I know all roof a shelter. What does that proverb really mean? I know all roof a shelter. Well, the translation: not all roofs can provide shelter. Now for the meaning and the explanation. Here it is to the proverb, I know all roof a shelter. The explanation: what you think is a place of refuge may not be what it appears to be. That is the explanation for that proverb. Can you relate? I know all roof a shelter. A development out of the United States that we'd like to share with you right now. Attorney files 1,500 new cases for $10 billion in Travis Scott's Astroworld tragedy. Wow. How are they? I don't know what's going to happen in this case, boy. The lawsuits continue to pile up as more victims seek legal representation for what many have called the concert from hell, which left hundreds injured and 10 people dead, including a 10-year-old. On Monday of this week, a Houston attorney filed a new case with the Harris County District Court for 1,547 plaintiffs who are all victims of the Astroworld event in November. The lawsuits are seeking damages from rapper Travis Scott and his related companies, as well as Live Nation and Energy Stadium. To date, the total number of plaintiffs numbers, listen to this, 2,800, despite the fact that almost 50,000 people had attended the concert. The new lawsuit, which was filed by Brent Kuhn of Brent Kuhn and Associates, which also lists damages at $10 billion with a B US dollars for restitution for the 1547 festival concert goers who his firm is actually representing. Kuhn is a successful class action attorney and has had success with cases like the BP Texas City explosion in 2007, the TPC refinery explosion, and the ITC terminal fires years ago. Travis Scott, he recently filed to have the cases against him dismissed, as well as his companies, Jack Enterprises and Cactus Jack. The other defendants in the case also include Drake and some, as well as Energy Group and the Harris County Sports Authority. So it's a big, big development, and we're going to be watching this one. We can't tell you how it's going to end. Over 2,800 claims. This is going to impact Travis Scott's career one way or another, and it might not be a positive impact at all. Such a sad situation. 28 now past 9 o'clock. The entire music fraternity mourns his loss today, and joining us this morning in tribute, we have Clyde McKenzie and Judith Bodley to share their memories with us. Good morning, Judy, and good morning, Clyde.
Morning, Mr. Richard Burgess, the man with the voice they can't text.
Oh gosh. Now you're going to make me stutter.
No, you think smooth.
Oh, thank you for joining us, Judy. Good morning, Clyde.
Morning, Richie. What's up?
I'm doing well. But it's a sad day for all of us as we together mourn the passing of another great one from within our midst. Clyde, let me start with you. Early recollections. Share with us some of those you've had with experiences you've had with Robbie Shakespeare, the man.
Well, one of the things that anyone who has come in contact with Robbie Shakespeare would know is that he is a no-nonsense kind of person, while at the same time he is somebody who embodies fun and levity. So he is the kind of guy that he will let you know the time of the day very, very quickly. But he is the person who would be willing to act as a mentor, was always ready to help younger and even well-established artists to hone their craft. So, it wasn't unusual for a Robbie to be on stage and whispering to the main act what he should be doing or what she should be doing in terms of moving. Sometimes he would be performing the moves himself and then telling them to imitate it or imitate them, So that's the kind of person that Robbie Shakespeare was. I mean, musically, his contribution with Sly is phenomenal. I mean, there are hardly any kinds of adjectives and descriptors that you could use to really do justice to that combination. It was simply magical. I remember Sly relating a story to me some time ago. At a group of us, we were together in Florida, and Sly was telling us, just how the open snare type of drum pattern came into being as a result of, he and Robbie listening to how the rock musicians play. And he was realizing that they both realized that the one drop mode of delivery was not the kind that was going to people's gut. And they improvised, and the open snare type of drumming that is characteristic of, you see in a lot of the Black Uhuru music, which they were, Sly and Robbie were actually members of Black Uhuru at one point.
Yes.
Because Chris Blackwell, if you look at the last album, you would see that Sly and Robbie are a part of the aggregation with Puma and Ducky and Michael Rose. So, this is the contribution of Robbie Shakespeare, in conjunction with
Sly.
Is mind-boggling. You can't speak of any most important act that you speak of as far as Jamaican music. They would have had to make some reference to them, and not to speak about the big stars outside of Jamaica that have benefited from their influence.
Yeah, let me ask Judy, from your perspective, Jude, how big a loss is this for us?
Richie, this is massive. Let's just look at what Rolling Stone has put out, right? Robbie Shakespeare, and they have in quotations, wickedest bass in reggae, dead at 68. It goes on to say, alongside his Rhythm Twins counterpart, Sly Dunbar, the bass is played for everyone from Black Uhuru to Bob Dylan across more than 4 decades. And then let me list for you that not only has he worked with Black Uhuru and Bob Dylan, and the things that Bob Dylan is saying about the pleasure of working with them, and as a matter of fact, he was also a member of Black Uhuru when they won the very first reggae Grammy.
They produced that album, first. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Now, back to what Rolling Stone has written. They said that he helped move the genre into new sonic territory. And it's something that we know, right? We know that whilst they call them sonic mad scientists, moving their sounds and the music into the more syncopated, electronic-driven territory on classic singles like Grace Jones' Pull Up to the Bumper.
Yeah.
Last evening we were we were with Sly and we were with Red Rose and Colin Bulby York and just the solemnness and also the joy, as they spoke to who Robbie was as not only a musician but a person, and of course his affiliation with Family Man Barrett,
yes,
in terms of becoming a bass. My business partner Sharon Burke was also there, and it's interesting that Sharon and then everybody else chimed in about the wicked potato pudding, the wicked cornmeal pudding, and the wicked bread pudding that Robbie could make. And when he did those, everyone in the music industry who has a close relationship with Robbie has sampled those very puddings.
I saw your post where you were saying you were going off to visit Sly. How would you describe his mood? How is he holding up?
He's holding up. I don't know about now. I haven't spoken to him since morning, but I think that because there were persons around. Because there were persons around. He was talking. Yeah. There's a lot of memories. He was talking about places they had gone to. He was talking about things that they had done, and just generally talking about the music. And he was in a good place, but he was unwilling to be on any station or any media to talk about anything.
Yeah. I think I heard Clyde saying something a while ago. Clyde, you spoke to Sly, you said?
Yeah, we had a nice little discussion. Sly is one of my special people, so we had a nice little discussion this morning, and it more had to do with really just thanking him and thanking Robbie, because I think we owe them an enormous debt of gratitude. What they have done for the music is. And Jamaican culture is enormous, and I mean, we can't even begin to fathom where their influence has led modern popular music. And I think, it is important that when you are reflecting on people like these, you get a sense of some of the things that they did that were just so unusual, and different, and the shifting of the sonic territories as Judith referred to with the article, is something that is so important, and as I had earlier talked about, Sly. Making mention of the open snare drumming pattern that was something that transformed the music, and that is a kind of thing. I mean, they were person. I mean, Robbie was a personality, a larger than life personality. That it was. I mean, people like Copeland Forbes will tell you, and I mean, this is. Sly and Robbie are featured prominently in his upcoming book. He will tell you that on the road, Robbie was one of the men, one of the people you would always depend on to ensure order is on the road. So if somebody decides to be a little bit errant and, do something that is, a violation, you could always depend on Robbie to rein that person in.
That's where I wanted to go, because I know Judith has to leave us shortly. But Judith, you've been a media practitioner yourself for a long time. Sly was always the one that was easier to access, and Robbie always came across as very serious. And I think it worked well for the duo. One being more media friendly and so on, while the other one quite serious, but serious about his work. How did you find that? Were you able to interview him, for instance?
Yin and yang. And so you are accurate in terms of always being able to speak to Sly. But I loved Robbie, and because maybe you didn't know this, I did a stint on singing backing vocals, and I did that with Black Uhuru too. And I've been in studio a couple of times when they're recording and Robbie is there. And once you're around him often enough, then he will speak. He will speak to you, and this is the thing. He's very protective of people that he likes, and so when he speaks, it's almost frightening. No, don't do that. Don't do that to no. You know.
It's a serious brethren, trust me.
Yes.
Let me tell you what.
But like Clyde says, his work has spoken for him. Sickness is no respecter of persons, and we need to understand that clearly. And the fact that he has been ill for, about a year, and those in the industry would have known that too. Yes. And to see that sickness will take us out.
It will, and I want to thank you, Jez. I know you have to run, Clyde. Let us try to understand now. What do we do? How do we celebrate this man?
Well, I think there are a number of things that can be done and should be done. I mean, because he will always live in his music. And that will never die. But there are other things, because sometimes, we hear the music and we don't make the necessary associations. So the backstories are very important. And so many of our legends are moving on now. It is important for us to make a serious effort to document the accomplishments and the contribution of these individuals, and to demonstrate sometimes the obstacles that these people had to overcome in order to be the legend that they are. And Robbie Shakespeare is no exception. He came from the rough side of the city, and he was able to use his enormous talent with the help of others. But his effort was largely self-taught, and it's just a matter of his using his gifts of discernment and innovation to really make a contribution to an art form and a culture that is, he is just larger than life.
Yes, and with all of the success that they had, they remained very, very humble. Julie, what do you say to all those who mourn right now, as we all do?
I say that we should take comfort in the fact that Robbie will always live. He will always live.
Yeah.
And speaking of the humility of these men, I can attest. There was one incident I remember years ago. I went to the studio with Jack Ruby and Jackie Mitu. And as a youngster, what stood out to me at the time was there was Sly and there was Robbie at the Dynamic Studio. And when Jackie Mitu came in and Jackie Mitu was playing, Sly was like a little child. Robbie, you know who that is? Jackie Mitu. And I was like, yo, this is Lowell Sly Dunbar and Robbie Shakespeare. But here these men were, and they were excited about the brilliance of Jackie Mitu. And I think that kind of humility can go a long way.
Yes.
With the confidence, too, that you need, because you can't be great like Sly and Robbie and not confident enough.
There you go.
But at the same time, you must have an appreciation for greatness.
Yeah.
And a sense that, yes, others are important. And I think they understood that.
They understood it very well. I remember you made a mention of the fact that so many times, even during a performance, you could see Robbie getting involved. Sly not necessarily being able to get up from behind the drums, but he could move around with a bass guitar, Robbie that is. And I remember in Los Angeles, California, seeing him and Shireen almost doing a playoff against each other. He working with a bass guitar and Shireen tackling him and making sure that the crowd had fun. He had a certain vibe about him. Even his dress code is something that people are talking about.
The thing is that he was a personality, and even if he was of few words, I mean, his personality
stood
loomed
out.
large.
It stood out. Yes.
He was serious, and yet he was playful.
Yeah.
You know, because on stage you could see that he was having fun.
Yes.
And he was really deeply invested in what was going on.
Great Jamaican. Will be sadly missed, but we're thoroughly in appreciation of all that he has done. And we express our condolences once again to all those who mourn. And we cherish the memories and the music that he definitely played on. Thank you so much, Clyde. Great talking with you as usual. And thanks to Judith, who was with us earlier. Have a good day.
Thank you, Richie.
Always a pleasure. So he's one of dancehall's most prolific artists. He boasts an innate skill, witty lyrics, and charisma and style. He's a fantastic performer and overall a great entertainer. Registered at birth, Christopher Smith. But ladies and gentlemen, we have come to know him as Hawkeye. Good morning, sir.
Good morning!
Oh.
Bridge!
We're there.
May I tell you,
What go on, my brother?
boy, I'm there and Father Richie. What go on, man?
It's been a while, man.
I would have ramped!
Skibbity boy!
Give me the bye! As usual, yes, me I say, hardly what go on, Papa. Big up yourself, man. And much love and respect to the High King. It's a blessing to see them.
Big up.
It's a blessing, my brother. God
Enough respect,
Yes,
Hawkeye. Glad that you could make it down to the studio, man, so we can have a chat. It's been a while. First of all, sad news for the entertainment industry. People that you've worked with, I know you've done some work with Sly and Robbie passed. What do you say in that regard right now?
Boy, I tell you, yesterday I just went to the studio in the afternoon and got the news from Rory Baker. I tell you, it's like the man just greet me with a thump in my face, you know? You know, but, oh my God, I mean, Robbie and Sly, you know, the world know Robbie and Sly. They are world renowned. You know, I mean, it is honestly, it is a really great loss for the music industry, you know? And I mean, Sly is still here, you know, but you don't know, just like Steely and Clevie, you know that, you know, Steely passed away, Clevie is still here. You see me, I say, but you don't know, you know, giving out condolences to his family. You don't know, say, Taxi Gang, you know, which I'm a part of, you know, holding strong. You know, I mean, you have people like, you know, Devante there and Tantometry, you see me, I say, myself, you know, Rory Baker, you have Anthony Red Rose, and when you hear these names, you're talking about great artists also, and producers. You know, you have Shireen Anderson, who is a part of the camp also. You know, Liba, you know, she comes by, you know, and then, but she worked with Sly over the years. You know, I'm saying big up to the great Don Legend Sly. Yes, big up, you know, and condolences, my brother. You know, I'm saying that to myself too. You know, because you know, Robbie was really a family, you know, brother. One of the most recent productions that you did was Who Dem a Ramp With, which was a taxi production. Yes, man.
How did that song come about?
You know that Sly is, well, to me, I know Sly as the man who is the only producer I know who put out rhythm with boss. You know? Rhythm by itself. You know, so apparently this rhythm that Sly had, it's called Alkaline 9.1.
Yeah.
It was going on his rhythm album coming out for this year. And I heard the rhythm in the studio and said, Sly, what you do with this? You say, I film rhythm album. I say, rhythm album, you're mad? I say, give me that rhythm. I say, put that rhythm upon my thumb drive. Apparently, he did it. I went and I wrote the song. And when I came back with the song and recorded the song and Sly came in the studio and heard it, Sly was like, yo, Hawkeye, you kill it. So Rory, mix this right away. You know, so that's when we started, you know, I mean, and we keep, you know, put it, it came out and we keep pushing it and doing the things like come on, so boy Hawk, so that tune I need little gas. Make us shoot the video.
Okay.
So we shoot the video, so I mean, for those who want to see this video, can go on YouTube. My channel is Hawkeye Dancehall. The song is called Who Dem a Ramp With. And Hawkeye is Hawkeye. Over the years I've been in music, I realized that music is a thing, our life in general, you have to be very patient, and if you create something that is outside of the norm, it might take a while to be recognized and to get out there or to really get the break, but trust me, it will be there longer than anything that is the norm, and will sustain far more longer. Yeah. So when I heard this rhythm, I just know that this just sound, centric. It just sounds centric. I want to be a part of this. This sound futuristic. This sound like something that, could play in a movie soundtrack. It can, play in anything, any little introduction, all of that. It just have this.
It has a
stage,
something to it.
It have this,
unique.
I had to be a part of this.
Yes, and Who Dem a Ramp With came out.
Who Dem a Ramp With.
It's been doing well for you overseas as well.
Yeah, it has been. I really and truly, I mean, I've been getting, crazy response, based on what is going on now with the pandemic and stuff like that. A lot of things get kind of, dampened by it and stuff, but, we still go on, we're still pushing, we're still pressing.
So that is the more recent happening. But let's go back to the beginning, Hawkeye. How did you actually get involved in the music industry? How did it start for you?
Well, as everyone would say, they've been through the sound system thing. Okay. I didn't do much of the sound system, but I did DJ on a few sounds in my area that I lived in. That's off Hagley Park Road. Okay. So I started there, but the most important factor was this friend I had by the name of Arville. He lives in Texas, right? He has some family live on the same avenue that I live on Hawkland Drive, the same avenue Alizade come from. Okay. Buccaneer was living down the road, that which is Bloomsbury Road. So you have a whole heap of little artists. I heard that Pinchers used to live on the avenue on the other side, which is Cheltenham Drive. So I didn't know them at the time, but you see what I said, but they were there. Anyway, this guy called Arville now, every summer that him come down for summer holiday, him always send come call me for DJ for him, because him boy, I'm always sound fresh and all of these things. Yeah. Apparently one year he decided that, I'm going to introduce it to a producer, It was so behold that it was the great Danny Brown, the man I'm going to introduce me to. So when he took me to the studio, Danny, listened to me and him liked my voice. He said I had a distinct voice, but the kind of lyrics from that DJ at the time and a film thing, cause Danny thing was the hilarious kind of thing, the one word, the two meanings kind of stuff, like the pianist and the neighborhood and them kind of, So that was Danny kind of, mind working thing. So I had to get into that thing, but Danny said, him like my voice, me can come there, whenever I want and stuff. So that was my ticket.
Main Street.
Yes, that was my ticket into music.
Yeah, and I tell you, Hawkeye, you came with a style which was quite unique to you. And I'm not even too certain, it has been imitated by many through the years, but I'm not too certain that you have been credited for sort of creating a particular style of DJ. How do you describe the style that you entered the business with?
Boy, I just knew that I have a flow. I had it as a flow because I create this style. It's a mix of a rap song I heard, this guy called Q-Tip. He did a song called Vibrant Thing. Yeah. Vibrant Thing, Vibrant Thing. So when I heard that, it's like it hit me like a note. I always remember when I used to go on, the road with Rat and Goofy, people used to tell us that they love the vibe, but they don't understand what we're saying. They just love the energy that we push and the rhythm and the vibe and stuff, and one and two words they can pick up and stuff. So I have always told myself that I would like to create a style for myself that is standard English in a sense, but something that people can really right across the world can understand. Yeah. So this is how that style came about. When I heard the Vibrant Thing, the song I did for General Degree that started this movement of this style was a song they call Me give them a style, me give them a pattern, them must mama. Niggas astonish, get calm, come as a lama.
Yeah.
Hawkeye mix up them grandmama. Hot, cold, warm, so am I. You know, so
Yeah.
it was like a flow with, you know, stuff. And
With lyrics,
if
not
you
lyrics, and a
if
whole
you notice,
rhymes.
most of my songs are,
Yeah.
are practically like English. It's like they're English. Tell a girl, you're not beg, even though it's kind of patois, but I keep it kind of standard English.
yeah,
You're not beg, and you're not sponge, a girl hungry. From your love woman in the year, yan fi go.
It is a style that has been imitated a lot, and I
Very
don't think a lot of people give Hawkeye the respect that he should get for that style.
But you know,
But we know the originator.
yeah, man.
And that's the
you
important
see,
thing.
The thing about we, you know, is that we just create and move on, because just like how we hear other things and emulate from it,
Mm-hmm.
and we have people who we look up to and stuff, you know, we in return create our thing and give credit.
Yeah.
You know?
What's happening for you right now? Beyond who them around with, what else are you working on? Where are you going from here, Hawkeye?
Well,
Pandemic is on, we know, but the
Yeah.
work continues.
yeah, the work continues. I mean, I'm at Sly, as I said, in the taxi gang there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, before this happened, you know, this happened with Robbie yesterday, you know, so, but we were basically in discussion to do a album with Sly and Robbie. Apparently Sly called it a taxi showcase.
Oh, really?
You know, so you know, we're still working on that. We have that going. So I wasn't here for a little. I just came back, you know, like about 2 weeks ago. So I'm back here now to come and get this news. So I mean, after all this thing quell, and you know, we send Mr. Robbie, you know, to, you know, basically, you know, to just, you know, rest in peace and you know, whatever, you know, then I guess we move on from there. You know,
yeah.
the word of, you know, Sly really have to say, you know, whatever Sly says, but well, I have a lot, you know, quite a few materials there where trust me.
So we can look forward to some exciting things.
Yeah, man. You know,
down the line.
but you know me, Rich, over the years, you know, I don't talk much about, you know, stuff, because I like to see them. I like to have them in my hand, you know, already, you know, to say certain things, you know. But the work is there. I'm doing what I have to do. You know, I'm trying to keep my, you know, my head above water, try to keep myself out of trouble. You know, just doing the music, same way, spreading the love. You know, just you know, giving what life, you know, what we're here for in life. You know, I'm just trying to instill some of that, you know, in my life movements.
Fantastic. Hawkeye, it's great seeing you. What are your social media handles for persons who would like to follow you and so on?
Okay. Well, you know that if you want to reach Hawkeye, as I said on YouTube before, my channel is Hawkeye Dancehall, and it's one word, HAWKEYEDANCEHALL. Please to go and subscribe. You don't know, leave a comment on all of these things on the channel. You know the thing. You know, if you want to find Hawkeye on Facebook, my fan page is Hawkeye Dancehall. Hawkeye Music One. I'm sorry, Hawkeye Music One on my fan page, and Christopher Hawkeye Smith is the regular, you know, Facebook page. On Twitter, it's Hawkeye Reggae. Yeah, and Instagram. Yes, I had to change my Instagram name the other day because they stole all my Instagram.
Really?
Yeah, they acted, you know, just recently, a couple months ago, you know, so I had to change it now to Christopher Hawkeye.
Okay.
Right, so my new Instagram page is Christopher Hawkeye. Please to go follow. You don't know. Can't ball and holler.
Great catching up with you this morning. We have another feature coming up, but brethren, send on the music as soon as they're ready, and we'll give you some support. Enough respect.
Yeah, man, most definitely. It's a pleasure to be here. You don't know. Bridge 99. You know, so we have to cross it. A mad thing. Big up yourself, Audrey. I want to say mad respect to Susan who made the connection. Big up yourself, Powerhouse Media. Mad.
All right. Thank you very much, Hawkeye.
Thank you
Ladies
very
and
much,
gentlemen,
Richie
we're
B.
getting on to constitutionally speaking. That was a good chat there we had with our good friend Hawkeye in the building on Up and Go on the Bridge. All right, so it happens every Thursday morning at around about this time. And we'd like to welcome, as usual, our guests, the public defender, Arlene Harrison Henry. We say good morning. Lady Henry, how are you today?
I'm very good, thank you. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning to you and welcome. We also are joined by the Deputy Public Defender, Mr. Herbert McKenzie. Good morning, Mr. McKenzie.
Good morning to you, sir.
Glad that you could join us.
Indeed.
Public Defender, today we're paying tribute to Velma Hilton, QC, And I want you to start it off with us by telling us a little bit about this individual.
All right, I could start that one if the public defender doesn't mind.
Sure, go ahead, Herbie.
All right. People might not remember who Velma Hilton is, but this, what I'm about to say, will bring her back to the forefront of people's memory. In 2014, when the Commission of Inquiry was announced into the 2010 Joint Police Military Operations in Tivoli to execute the warrant on Christopher Dudus-Coke, she was one of those commissioners to which the parliamentary opposition took objection. The objection was based upon comments attributed to her in a previous Commission of Inquiry in 2002 when she appeared as counsel. She quite graciously backed down to prevent any controversy so that the commission could go on. She was that lady, and I think people remember her. But Miss Velma Hilton, who sadly left us at the age of 84 years, was a most courageous woman at the public bar and at the private bar. At the public bar, she served in the DPP's office here in Jamaica, where she was a Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions. She's also remembered for the lead role she played and on the prosecuting team in 1984 in Grenada, when those persons who were involved in the alleged killing of Maurice Bishop in the coup in October of 1983. Velma Hilton was the lead prosecutor, and the Battery of Defense Counsel were largely from Jamaica. Velma Hilton led that charge. After she finished that major set of legal proceedings in Grenada, she eventually went on to become a judge in the Eastern Caribbean Court. And she was a resident High Court judge in St. Kitts for some years, and she performed well there. Anybody would have practiced in the Eastern Caribbean as a lawyer would have heard of her name being mentioned. Then, when she demitted the bench in the Eastern Caribbean, she became the Director of Public Prosecution in Bahamas, again where she acquitted herself well, and she's still talked about today as a prosecutor in Bahamas. And after she finished her stint in Bahamas, she returned to Jamaica, where she became involved in public service again. And it was during that period, the episode that I mentioned earlier on about her involvement in the Commission of Inquiry happened. And then after all of that, she went back into private practice, primarily in St. Elizabeth. She did St. Elizabeth, some work in Manchester, but primarily she was based in St. Elizabeth. And from time to time, should appear in the Supreme Court here in Kingston. She's a well-known lawyer in the Jamaican legal circle. Anybody who doesn't know Velma Hilton really has made it into the legal circles yet.
Yes, a lot of contributions she made, and we thank you for highlighting them this morning. We also have another issue which I think we want to get in this segment, and maybe the public defender will come in here. We understand that homeowners in Harborview are experiencing negative repercussions, really, of the Mosaic project. They're suffering soil erosion beneath their homes, and even in some instances, the collapse of walls and other infrastructure.
Absolutely.
Has it been brought to your attention, and what can you tell us this morning, Public Defender?
So this is a matter that we feel very strongly about. Sometime in 2015, government agencies, including National Works Agency and ODPEM, designed a method called the Mosaic methodology to carry water off high grounds up in Harbour Heights and to take that water down on lower grounds. It involved digging out a gully, a massive gully behind the homes on Harbour Drive. The Mosaic project, which included creating drains and culverts up on the higher slopes, guttering people's homes to channel water, but to control rainwater for it to be discharged on lower ground in Harborview by 2015 October, the very year the project was completed. We had heavy rainfalls and the project failed. It led to flooding out of residents on Harbor Drive and other areas in Harborview, to include an area called Southern Cross. From that day, 2015, until today, these residents on Harbor Drive continue to have this massive gully, unpaved, uncontrolled, behind their backyard. So to dig the gully, these government agencies were required to remove the people's back fences, back walls, and there's a massive pipe coming down in the gully, pathway, and it runs all the way down to the Sir Florizel Glaspole Highway, which you know is a main road going to the airport. You have to go that road. Otherwise, you're going to have to reach the airport by way of a boat. And the rains that we have been having, in particular 2020 again, we have lands collapsing. These backyards I'm talking now, collapsing. One lady's storage room built out in her backyard collapsed down into the gully. Trees come down into the gully. And when we contact these agencies as to when are the people going to be restored, they say, oh, we don't have any money. We don't have any money. So you have dug a gully, unpaved. We are not saying, that paving the gully is necessarily the answer, because we are not engineers. We are saying that whatever you need to do to put up at the people back fences, restore their homes, you must do that. You have an obligation to do that. Having yourself been the agencies of government, dug that gully that was ordinary flat land. In fact, the area was used as a service road. If JPS came in and wanted to do any work, that piece of land was just nice and flat. The vehicles could drive in. So what we now have is people, they pay their mortgage, they buy their houses. One would have thought that having a home, providing for your family, may be an important target in people's lives. But these people did it. And they are now in a state, when it rains, they can't sleep because they don't know when the gully coming down. And this is a matter that we're going to advocate on until it is corrected, because it's a right and proper thing to do. You can't dig a gully behind people's house all along that road.
Yes.
And then turn around and say, oh, well, when we get the money in our budget.
And it sounds like a lot of persons are affected by this.
About 25 homes are impacted. These are people, some of whom work in the tri-state. And you know how it is, Jamaicans work overseas. They save their money hard, send the money back home to try and buy their homes, to provide for their families. And you, as agencies of government, just come in and destroy that dream, destroy that peace of mind, which home ownership is supposed to bring.
Destroying people's investment.
Absolutely. And you and I know that the home ownership is perhaps the largest investment
That
the
will make.
average Jamaican is going to make.
Absolutely.
And Richie, this is a matter that we intend to advocate on day in, day out until the people get redressed.
What is the next step in the process as far as you're concerned? Where do you go from here with this matter?
Well, we have a report and we have brought it. I don't want to say I've brought it to the infrastructure committee yet because I don't immediately remember. But I know I've been putting matters before the infrastructure committee. And if it is not there yet, I would say by the end of next week, it is going to be there. Let Parliament look at it and let them tell us how this matter shall be addressed. It was our understanding that there was funds in the contract, the South Coast contract, and it was our understanding that there were funds adequate to repair the problem. We are now told, it wasn't adequate, and that revived estimates have, brought in the amount required to fix the project way over and above. We don't know, Richie, we are not quantity surveyors, we are not engineers. We don't know the technical things. What we know is that you can't dig a gully behind people's house and walk away. You can't do it.
I hear you loud and clear, and we know that this definitely is something that you're getting a lot of support on. And, we want to thank you for what you are doing through your offices to really help to bring relief and justice to many people across Jamaica, tackling the issues head on. We thank you, Public Defender, and we also thank you, Deputy Public Defender, for your input this morning. Again, we want to say condolences to the family of the late Velma Hilton QC, and thank you also for highlighting the problems of those homeowners over there in Harborview. We look forward to next week's program when again we look at some of the issues affecting our people. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you for having us. All the very best.
To you too. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was, of course, constitutionally speaking this morning, looking at, first of all, a tribute to Velma Hilton QC and also the infringement on the rights of residents in Harbour Heights. The focus is on Teen Talks, and that is a group-based organization that aims to support and create a safe space for teenagers. This organization was founded by teens and run entirely by teens. And we're going to be hooking up momentarily and having a conversation with the president, L'Oreal Laing. And we'll also be reaching out to Vice President Brianna Lue, who will both join us and tell us more about this organization. Do we have our guest ready? I think we do. So we say good morning, L'Oreal.
Good morning.
And how are you today?
I am doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing well also. Thank you so much for joining us. Is Vice President Brianna there? Brianna?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Brianna. How are you?
I'm good.
All right. So we have the president and the vice president of Teen Talks. Let me ask you, L'Oreal, what is Teen Talks?
All right, so Teen Talks is a non-profit organization that's founded by teens, run by teens, and it's to help our teenagers. We started last year during COVID time. We started last year, November, when we realized that COVID wasn't really going anywhere and it was hitting our teenagers more than persons were realizing. We value mental health, we value physical health, and we think that it's really important with our teenagers, because not a lot of persons see that our teenagers are struggling. So we decided to start Teen Talks to create this space for teens to come, open up, be themselves, enjoy themselves, be giving towards the community, receiving help from the community, and a lot more.
As it relates to the pandemic, L'Oreal, what are some of the effects that you'd have found that it was having on teenagers?
Okay, so I found that a lot of the teenagers were going through depression, anxiety, and mental health is not something that is really talked about in Jamaica. And as a teenager, when you tell your parents that, hey, I'm depressed, the most common response that you will get is that, nothing to be depressed over or something like that. And it was amongst my friends that I found out that the depression was really hitting. Know that they couldn't leave their houses to be around their friends or in school. So because of that fact, we were like, this can't work. We got to do something. We got to be there for our teens.
Yeah.
Has to be done. So, yeah.
All right. Let me ask Brianna now. Brianna, I want you to delve a little deeper into the services that Teen Talks actually provide.
Okay, so at Teen Talks, what we do, we have meetings. We have weekly meetings where, we as a team, as well as other teams out there, can join it. We talk about we talk about real life issues that aren't really talked about. So that includes mental health, depression, anxiety, even stuff like breast cancer and such, because that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and you have Autism Awareness Month. So we talk about those things as well. We do outreach activities, because earlier this year, we did an outreach activity. We went to the Maxfield Children's Home. We donated food, clothes, and a bunch of other stuff that's necessary for the little children there and such. But we would love to interact with them, but as COVID, COVID regulations and such, we couldn't do that. But it's a plan to at least have a meeting, a little concert thing where even if we can't interact with them physically, we can do so virtually.
Yes.
We also support small businesses run by teens and such, because COVID, a lot of small businesses are popping up online and such. So we do business reviews, we support them, do free shout outs and such, so they get recognized and such. Other than that, we also support talents. So if you can sing, you can draw, you can act and stuff like that, we also recognize those as well. We try to make it known that it's okay if you have these talents, because that some persons might have talents but they don't want to show it. So we help them to showcase, we help them to build their confidence in it and such. We're just more about the growth of teens, because that teen mental health actually isn't, as Laurie said, something that's talked about on a regular basis in Jamaica, and it isn't really recognized. So yeah.
Let me ask, how many, shall we say, members or associates do you actually have?
Currently, we have around 50 members.
Did you say 50?
15.
Oh, 15. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
All right. And you expect phenomenal growth in the near future?
Yes, we do.
All right. L'Oreal, let me get back to you, Madam President. If persons want to volunteer or assist your organization, how do they contact you? And second part of the question is, how are you currently being funded?
Okay. So if persons want to assist to volunteer, even if they want to join the organization, they can do so by going to the Instagram page, and we are Teen Talks JA on Instagram, and they can message us, send a message to say, I want to volunteer or so forth, or they can WhatsApp us at 237-0126.
237-0126.
237-0126. So that's how they can reach out to be a part of us. They can also message us on Facebook, because we are on Facebook as well, Teen Talks JA as well. How are we being funded? So at the moment, funds come out of the members' pockets. That's how we are doing it. Our charity event, we went to members, we told members, get your friends to donate and so forth. So that's how we are currently being funded. But we do have plans to gain sponsorship and so forth in the near future.
Okay. You're targeting primarily teenagers, right? When you look into the future, what's your vision for this organization, for this setup? What do you really want to do with it?
Okay, so in order for me to answer that question, I'll have to tell you that I was inspired by Talk Up Youths.
Okay.
That's what I was inspired by.
Uh-huh.
So our vision for the future is to have our teens, like a whole heap of members coming together, putting on events so that teens can be there. We're hoping that we can educate most of the Jamaican teens about mental health and let them know that it's okay not to be okay. And this is a complete safe space. We are hoping to get that far. We are hoping to have a lot more outreach programs. That's where we are heading towards. We are also heading towards just getting teenagers on the right setting. For Jamaica, we're hoping to get them to let them know that they don't have to do what other persons are telling them to do. They can be who they want to be and they can do what they want to do, right? We recently had our International Men's Day and we had a meeting for that, and we supported our men, even though most of our members are females, and all females were there supporting our men to let them know that it's okay, you don't have to live up to societal standards. So we're hoping to expand more to get to that point where a lot of persons are there. Whenever we have meetings, we have at least 200, 300 persons coming to hear about what we have to say to them and to allow them to talk and express to us how they are feeling.
Okay. Some big plans, and I wish you well going forward. Brianna, what's next? Do you have another meeting, another event? What is around the corner?
Well, we are actually closing the year with a Teen Talks dinner for us members, to just celebrate the fact that we have made it through a successful year, because our 1 year anniversary was just a few days ago, actually.
Okay.
So we're having a dinner in December, so we just, celebrate that and such. But for January, we do have some big plans for the upcoming year. We have plans, we're putting plans in motion for other social media websites and such.
So you're expecting 2022 will be a great year, right?
Yes, we are.
I'm sure it will be. In closing, just give us your social media handles once again, so other teenagers out there who'd like to be a part of Teen Talks JA can get in touch.
So on Instagram and Facebook, we are Teen Talks JA. No capital letters, just Teen Talks JA.
We are also on TikTok and Twitter. And it's the same Teen Talks JA. So all our social media, Teen Talks JA.
Ladies, I'm proud of what you're doing. There's definitely need for an organization like this, and please keep us informed going forward on all of the activities that we can share with our listeners. Thank you so much. All right.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Our pleasure talking there with President of Teen Talks JA, L'Oreal Laing, and Vice President Brianna Lue. All right, these are teenagers on a mission with some goals in sight and trying to make a positive impact on our society. We have to commend them and support them. Right, ladies? Right. They're still on the screen. I'm seeing their reaction. Have a good day, guys. What a morning it's been. We had two wonderful guests at 8 o'clock this morning, L'Oreal Laing, and she's president of Teen Talks, and we also had the Vice President, Brianna Lue. They have some big plans for teenagers, especially at this time during the pandemic, and they want to make sure that there's no teenager out there who's suffering from depression or any stuff like that, and I like what they're onto. We're definitely going to keep in touch with them. I want to thank, of course, Judith Bodley and Clyde McKenzie, who joined us in a segment where we paid tribute to the late Robbie Shakespeare. Thank you both very, very much. We had our musical guest in Hawkeye, Mr. Skibbity Bye. Hawkeye was in the building, bringing a lot of energy and giving us an update on what he's working on and what we can look forward to in the near future. Big respects, Hawkeye. Take care, bro. And then, of course, the interesting segment, the Constitutionally Speaking segment with the public defender and the deputy public defender. It's now 18 minutes before the hour of 11 o'clock. Big ups to DJ Audley, big ups to Jody, Richie, Rainford, and Romaine, part of the team this morning. Make sure that you keep it locked right here. Mama Elise comes up on top of the hour at 11 with Untangled. Goes all the way until 2 o'clock when Nicky Z steps in, who rocks the afternoon right down until 5 when Kurt Riley takes over. Today's the Thursday. Tonight it's Chasing Purpose, right? Yeah, I think tonight we'll be having Chasing Purpose, I suspect. So make sure you keep it locked. What you want is what you get, and what you get is more than you bargained for. Hey, life's persistent and most urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Think about that. We're in the season of giving and spreading love, so make sure that you do some of that today. What are you doing for others? Not only for yourself, but for others as well. Make it happen. Have a great day. Much love from Richie B.
Richie B, the party master, on Up and Go, The Bridge, 99 FM.